They called him the Ghost of Main Street, not because he was dead, but because he lived like he already was. His name was John Keller, and in the quiet town of Elk Hollow, Montana, he was just that guy with the flannel shirt, the dusty boots, and the coffee-stained ball cap with no insignia. He'd sit at the same bench every morning outside Margot's diner, sip his black coffee, and nod politely to those who passed by. He never spoke unless spoken to. He never asked for anything. He never left town. The kids whispered stories about him: CIA assassin, no Navy SEAL. My dad says he once parachuted into Baghdad with nothing but a knife. But the truth? Nobody really knew, not even the sheriff, who once asked him directly and got nothing but a cold stare in return. He was just there like the mountains, like the fog. And for the people of Elk Hollow, that was enough. Until the letter came. It was a Tuesday when John Keller received the letter. No return address. No stamps, just a single sheet of paper, typewritten, placed carefully in his mailbox. He read it once, and then burned it in his fireplace without a word. But that night, for the first time in over 20 years, he opened the old trunk in his attic. Inside, a faded uniform, a worn leather notebook, and a photograph torn in half. He stared at it for a long time. Her face still made his heart ache. But Maria Vasquez, the intel officer who'd died on their last mission, official report, killed in action. Truth, left behind. They were never supposed to fall in love. But war doesn't follow rules, not the ones that matter. Their last mission had been deep in eastern Syria, a target extraction. Simple. Until the convoy got hit, he was pulled out by a drone team. She wasn't. He screamed. They sedated him. By the time he woke up, he was back at the base in Germany. Her name was buried under a mountain of red tape. And so, he left. Walked out of the uniform. Walked into Elk Hollow. Disappeared. But now, someone remembered. The letter had contained a single line. She's not dead. Come to New Mexico. He drove overnight. Didn't pack. Didn't call. Didn't explain. What waited for him wasn't a military base. It was a remote rehabilitation compound run by a private foundation, one he recognized from deep in the intel world, the kind of place that didn't officially exist. The receptionist, ex-CIA, judging by the way she clocked his every move, handed him a badge. Welcome, Mr. Keller. She's been waiting. He didn't believe it. Couldn. Single quotes T. Until he saw her. The woman in the chair was thinner, older, her hair streaked with gray. But the eyes, her eyes locked onto his like magnets. Hey soldier, she whispered. John dropped to his knees. For hours, they didn't speak. They just existed together, like time had paused. Maria had been rescued, barely. Weeks after the mission, traumatized, erased, hidden from enemies, and from him. They told her he was dead. They told him she was gone. It was deliberate. Why now? He asked. She looked away. Because the war never ended. It just changed uniforms. Over the next 2 weeks. John and Maria pieced together fragments. She'd been used as a ghost agent off the books, in the gray zones of proxy wars and drone diplomacy, but now her mind was fractured. Some days she remembered everything. Others, she didn't know her own name. John stayed. Every morning, he made her tea. Every night, he sat by her bed. One day she whispered, "There's a drive. I hid it. The cabin in Utah. What's on it?" he asked. Proof? The next morning he left at dawn. The cabin was as she'd described, remote, cold, untouched for years. Inside, hidden under a floorboard, was a flash drive sealed in a waterproof pouch. He plugged it into his old military laptop, the one he swore never to open again. And what he saw, it wasn't just surveillance footage or mission reports. It was an archive of unauthorized black ops, political assassinations, drone strikes on civilians, secret detainment centers, all carried out after the official end of the war, and stamped on each document. Operation Continual Resolve, a program that was supposed to be decommissioned in 2017. He stared at the data. This wasn't just a scandal, it was a betrayal. And his name, his own signature, was on at least 3 of the missions. Forged, repurposed, used to justify murders. Someone had kept him alive on paper to cover their own blood trail. He copied the files, encrypted them, made for backups. And then he burned the cabin. John returned to the compound. Maria was worse. Her memory flickered like static, but she smiled when she saw him. He told her nothing but that night. He wrote letters to Congress, to trusted journalists, 2 people who still had a soul left in D.C. He knew what would happen by the weekend. Unmarked cars began circling the compound. Phone lines cut, Wi-Fi blocked. 2 orderlies disappeared. John went into soldier mode. He rerouted the generator, locked down the facility, moved Maria to the basement. They came at 3:17 a.m. 4 men, suppressed weapons, tactical formation. He took out the first with a makeshift trap. The second, close quarters. The third fled. The fourth, he never saw him coming. They found him at dawn. Body cold, gun empty, but still holding the flesh. Dr. Maria lived. The files went public. Congress launched hearings. The media buried it after a week. Too complex, too disturbing. But in Elk Hollow, Montana, A statue was placed near the bench outside Margot's diner. A man in a flannel shirt, ball cap, coffee in hand. No medals, no rank, just a plaque. He came home. Then he saved it.